Good morning, everyone. This is Target Miss, giving you a commentary on the last day or so of trading. Also, since we are currently at 7:37 New York time, we can take a look at the market right now for a pre-market analysis. See what we are expecting for the day. So let's go back. So you can see since my last video, when we had reached, this is a 1 hour chart, let's switch over. I usually use the 1 minute, the 5 minute, and the 15 minute. I have the 3 minute as well, but I do use the larger time frames for reference every day at the start, just to get an idea of what to expect. So anyway, this was about the area that we left off last, and you can see that as we were here's the news play, and then here's after the market's closed and we're getting the London and Asian session here. We were climbing up, and since I was up a bit late that night, I did want to take a short from about right here. And unfortunately, that got stopped out. I went to bed, and then what do you know? We started the down move, and for this short, the target was right down here. You can see you have these equal lows there. That is going to be a first target for the algorithm. You can see that it smashed right through it. If you also look on the, oh, I lost it, let's see. On the, this is the 15-minute time frame. We had some fair value gaps right here that we had the break of structure here, wicked back up to fill these gaps, dumped. And look at the precision of the algorithm here. Just admire it for a moment. Here was the fair value gaps. Note, these were not drawn later. These were drawn as these gaps are forming on this candle, to this candle, to this candle. These were created right in here. Look at how it even comes up right to the wick on both of these. Even on here, look at how close it gets to filling these out each time before it dumps. Also interesting to look at is, think of this from a retail minded perspective. You can see these equal lows here. This is a target, but look at this. Oh look, this is strong resistance right in here. So someone who is shorting from a retail perspective would be shorting this and putting their stop just above there, because that's strong resistance. And what happens on the open? We get the false move up, wipe out these shorts, and then we dump. So you can see I was trying to take the short trade. This is about when I woke up. Didn't want to chase it down. This was the target. This is the gap from the start of the week, if you'll remember the Sunday gap we have in this area. You can see how the algorithm is really working that price, bouncing away from it, filling it even on this, filling it out. It's a area of interest for the algorithm. So once it got down here, then I was going to start looking for a hold and a bounce. And again, we wanted to see it kind of like in here. You can see that they're preparing to move this up. You can see by the way that they've stop punted this. They stop punted this twice, just like that, and then took off with it. And it's very hard if you look at these things. How can you still justify that the market is moved by buying pressure or selling pressure, like the bulls and bears fighting it out and such? If that's the case, why would it do this over and over and over? Why is it that we need these stop hunts before we take off? Why? What is the excuse, the justification for the fantasy that the markets are moved by buying or selling pressure? There's no such thing. So you can see that I was trying to take the long down move that we were looking for. Lower lows, NASDAQ refuse. And you can see this was the area that I thought that we would get a good bounce from. This area of previous imbalance right here. You can see it right in here, and you can see it on the 15-minute chart. This is the gap that we were expecting them to fill, to reload, and then to head back up. And it did bounce, get a move up there. And overall for the day, though, I was a little bit in profit. Not really that much, though, because taking the longs from here, taking some off on the pop up to here, and you can see that I was really looking for it to push up. Decent pop, but not as strong as we'd wanted, and it's not looking as strong as I had hoped. You see, this is because this is not the kind of reaction that we're looking for. We don't want to see it come up here and then be pushed away like that. That is not a good reaction. This is a good reaction right here. You can see how it kind of stays nice and tight as it's going up. It is not wasting time, breaking structure, and chopping back down. And honestly, if I was not still in the long, and this might have been just my own mistake here, but taking a short trade from here, once we got this break of structure yet again, and you can see that we're being pushed away from this area. And I did even mention that, I believe I mentioned that taking a short trade from here would be good. I thought that I did. But Yeah, you can see I was just longing this 41.24 for a play higher than this, but it just highlights and showcases the importance of taking partials, taking profits as you go up, you know. So when you get this, you can see that this move up was simply stop hunting this right here. Takes that, shows no interest in going higher, and that should have been a short signal. And I know that I did mention that it was not looking as strong. I thought that I had mentioned that taking a short from there could be good, but it wasn't the trade that I took. So, could have been better, but in the end, we still got what we were looking for. We got this stop hunt down, it hunts that. Again, some interesting buying, selling pressure that the market comes down and stop hunts this and then takes off. It's really a strange way for the market to behave if it was moved by buying and selling pressure. So, anyway, for now, how does the pre-market look? You can see that we've come up. We have stop hunted this level. This was the target that I was looking for on my long. You can see that I did take a small long that I reduced a bit and held overnight. Was brutal that I did close it out and didn't leave it on, but you know, that's part of being a trader, is managing your risk properly. And you can see we're talking about, this is just about the latest low. You can see I had one long that I had at 41.23, and I had been partialing it as we were getting this bounce and still holding some on, and then reloading it when it came down here. It got stopped out, so basically I was just barely in profit from yesterday. But it just goes to show that you can be right, and well, this trade did end up playing out. The one that I held overnight wasn't a huge trade, huge size, but it still ran where we thought it would. Market looks pretty weak. Might take a short when it pops back up here, but I'm still a bit cautious with the short play because, again, I am looking for them to run price back up to either this gap, the stop hunt up here, this point right here, 42.50, and then if they want to take it all the way up there to 43.60, that could be a future target. We do have the CPI data coming up next week. That could be the catalyst that they use to bring it up, or they could bring it up before and use the CPI as a catalyst for a correction and have a strong down day. We'll have to wait and see what they do. But in general, for now, my bias is up as long as this area is still intact. This is the E-minis daily chart, and as long as this area right here is holding intact, they're just coming to fill this out, or they've already done so. I am still expecting higher prices. Perhaps not today, at least right now. Market is looking weak, but that can very easily and quickly change. See this flat area, they're gonna try to hunt this more than likely. So taking a short trade on a pop-up down to here might be the next play that I do. We'll see if we get that opportunity in the pre-market or perhaps on the open. Also watching for a false move, as they don't do it every morning, but very oftentimes on the open, the New York session open, there will be a false move before the real move starts. You can see 9:30. It was down here. They use the open to pop us up and then down. Doesn't happen every day, but it is something to watch out for and can give some very good trading opportunities and setups. So there, looks like they're about to do it. I'm going to watch this area right here, 41.56, and then going to watch down in here for a potential long again. Might not try to front run it as aggressively as yesterday, but in the end, as long as we are still on track for higher prices, I am going to be looking for longs a bit more than shorts. They did pop up in here and immediately push away, so that could be the hint that there is some downside to come. Doesn't mean it has to be a long protracted downside, but when you see them pushing away and breaking structure like this, they did it here after they had come up, nearing these order blocks up here. You can see they're kind of laddering them down, as they always do. They do the same thing on the upside as well. You can see one here, there's one here. There's certainly a lot more on this climb up. Down here, you can see this was end of last month, same kind of thing. So we are getting these up here. So as long as we are getting that, and you see, this would have been a great short entry. If I had done all of this a bit earlier, I certainly would have taken this trade, because you can see they come run up, stop at this level. This is an area of imbalance for them that they are pushing price away from. Then notice each time it's not making it quite all the way there, coming kind of stepping it down. So yeah, that is how the market is looking so far. I mean, from right here, I don't see any good entries to be taken. So I'm going to be watching and waiting and seeing what we get. And if we do get a false move on the open, I would like to enter a trade then. If I see one before, I will take it. If nothing presents itself, then we simply wait. That is all there is to say. This long trade, small, but still a winner. So now, after yesterday's pretty much near break-even day, we are now up quite a bit. There they go. They're running that low out. They've run that low out. There's the wick. We can check NASDAQ doing the same kind of thing. They are entering this gap right here. Let's and see if there's any kind of reaction for it. So it is a bit more of a advanced thing. It takes a bit more practice, but using the ES and the NASDAQ markets and watching the correlations between them, seeing how they're both moving, how I'm sure you've seen in my community posts when one is making a lower low, the other is refusing to make one, or one's making a higher high, the other is refusing to make one. Cracks in the correlation SMT. A very, very useful thing to look at. Something that can help you get a good idea of areas where they are about to run price the other way. And it is not 100% of the time, it does not work, but it works quite often, and you want to use it in unison with something like this, where you see them run this out, stop hunt up here, and then immediately a imbalance to the downside. That is a short entry, very, very easy trade, in my opinion. So there they go. They've run that out. So now we will see. We might get some good long opportunities again. So we will see, and I will be posting any trades I'm taking as usual. The 100,000 to 1 million challenge is nearly completed. Should be complete within the next month or so, depending on how the trades go. After that, I will be starting a 1 million to 10 million challenge. So, look forward to it. Anyway, this has been Target Miss. Hope you've enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next video.